I was going to ask before this, what do you get more joy out of? Like when you guys are on one of those crazy runs where Oracle or Chase is going nuts, or when you're in a visiting an arena and you're just ripping their heart out?
I mean, they all being at home and being in that kind of a run and feeling that adrenaline rush, there's nothing like it. Cause you feel like 19,000 people feel like just, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but that's something that, I think I enjoy the most, especially because of the way, like JJ said, because of the way we play. Usually that means the ball's humming all over the place. Everybody's feeling good, you know, kind of walking with your chest out. And it's just a fun way to play basketball on top of the atmosphere. Like silence in the home crowd is dope, and you hope to have as many opportunities to do both, but being at home is special.
Have you ever missed one of those shots in a game?
Yes. I'm sure somebody could put a YouTube compilation of that together. But you ever see I don't know if Knox is the fake hustle part of his game yet, where you know you just do like the all out sprint back on defense. But that's my favorite. When I just do it, I half turn, I'm like, that's probably not going in. And then you kind of look back and I miss, and then it's a haul ass down, get in defensive position, like, oh, I'm locked in, move on, next play. But yeah, I've done. If I had to guess, I'm probably like 80-85%.
That's good. That's good. I mean, that's not bad. That's not bad. Live NBA game. That's fine. I did it. So 15 and 16 was when I felt like my body and shoulder mechanics and like my legs were probably the best in my career. Cause I had a little shoulder thing after 16. I'd never shot the same. It was like a scapula thing, and I would raise my shoulder. It was weird. But those 2 years, I would do it occasionally. Not as frequently as
you can explain how good it feels though, because there's a reason you do it.
There's a reason you do it because it feels, the biomechanics of it are just so perfect, and because you've shot thousands and thousands of shots, you know the feeling of when it's perfect. 100%. It's not always a swoosh. Sometimes it's the one that hits kind of the back rim where the net doesn't even move.
The Larry Bird make.
Yeah, the net doesn't even move. That's the best make there is.
Yeah.
But I did miss one time. And I don't know why I did this, because I did it on a pull-up like 17-footer. It was like we were playing Minnesota, and I was like, it was like a random January game in the third quarter. Like it was a meaningless shot. I missed it. And I was like, why did I fucking
Did anybody call you out on it?
Oh yeah. Okay. You know, CP sees everything.
I was about to say.
The confidence, you said irrational confidence, so I'm using your words here. That irrational confidence, I think the world was sort of introduced to that during that Davidson run your sophomore year. Did you always have that irrational confidence as a player?
Funny you say that. There's a nice documentary coming out called Underrated that we're launching in January, but it kind of documents the before, during, and after the Davidson run. And a big part of it is, you know, I was a late bloomer as a basketball player, as a scrawny, skinny kid on the end of the bench until the team ran zone, and they put me in to be a zone buster type vibe all the way through high school. Like I was kind of a pass first playmaking point guard that coach, my parents, sometimes teammates had to always tell me to shoot more because it just wasn't the way I saw the game, even though I knew I could shoot. But that kind of came forced when I got to Davidson, because we had an amazing point guard there named Jason Richards, who was team captain, team leader, voice of the team, and was an unbelievable setup guy. So I had to play the two, and it kind of unleashed that element. He made my life a lot really easy when I got to college, because I could run around screens, and the way that we played is, you know, motion offense and all that. And so I kind of got wrapped up in that experience, and it kind of unleashed a new way of, you know, playing the game that's very similar to how I do it now. So yeah, I didn't really have. There's a clip of me and my brother, and when we were in Toronto when I was 12, shooting before the game, and I'm like shooting from half court, and got the little holster shot that I used to have back then. And I tried to shoot all type of stuff. When I got in the game, it wasn't really that type of vibe of what you see now. So it's kind of an evolution of just, like you said, the amount of reps that you put in, the deserve confidence of, being able to go out there and take some chances, play with a little bit of creativity, continue to surprise yourself and push the envelope, and then really never lose that spirit no matter how, deep you get into your career, because I've always feel like I'm still on that journey.
Did you have a favorite of those tournament games?
Probably the Georgetown game, just because I think the first one was just special because we got our coach's first college, our first NCAA tournament win, and he just retired after 33 years of running Davidson program, Coach Bob McKillop, and to get him that first win was amazing. But the second game we played Georgetown. They were the second seed, and we were down 16 in the second half and came back to beat them. I'll never forget that energy in the building, because there was a lot of Tar Heel fans in there, and Georgetown had beat Carolina the year before in the tournament. So we kind of had a pseudo home game because everybody hated Georgetown in the building, including the Carolina fans. And, to be a 10 seed and beat a 2 seed and go to the Sweet 16 was special. So that was probably my favorite for sure.
The next game, the Sweet 16 game,
Wisconsin.
I think that was the game Braun was at, right?
Yeah. We had witness shirts and everything, like red witness shirts. This is crazy.
This is what's wild to me, because like at the time it's like, oh, this great story about this college kid at this small school, Dell's son or whatever, and LeBron is at his game. I want to kind of try to understand your mindset at the time. I mean, I don't know if you thought like, I'm going to league, I'm going to be an all-star. Could you ever have imagined playing against Braun in the finals 5 straight times at that point?
Nobody will ever believe it. It's just because it's a great question. That's exactly. I wouldn't, after we lost in the Elite Eight to Kansas, even at that point, I still wasn't thinking about the league. Like the first question I got in the locker room after the game was like, "Hey, you declaring for the draft?" I was like, "What? What are you talking?" Like we're in here crying, like mad we lost, and it's the first time I really kind of contemplated like that would be like that was the time. I knew that was the end goal, but it wasn't a means to an end type of situation. So to be in the tournament run, and I wish y'all could have been like on our team bus, like driving up to or in Detroit, going back and forth from the game, and you hear these rumors like, "Hey, I think Braun's coming to the game." Like what? Like, yeah, they're playing Detroit later. He asked. Somebody called the Davidson staff for some tickets for Braun to sit in our section. We're like, what? Like, what are you talking about? This is right. It's probably his fourth year in the league, and so nobody believed he'd show up. And then we get to the forward field, and lo and behold, like right when the tip off is coming, here comes Rich, Braun. I was trying to think who else was over there. He had like 5 or 6 people, and he's there just being a fan and watching us play. So to think, fast forward, 6 years later, we'd be playing against each other in the finals and all that. It's just a wild experience. I still have in my dad's house in North Carolina, I still have a Braun jersey on the wall in my bedroom. He signed the next year. He came to Charlotte, and I went to the game. And he signed a jersey, and it's like the greatest shooter in North Carolina or something like that. And he wrote and signed it, and I kept it. Gave me the shoes after the game and all that. So it's still wild just to think about the journey since then, because who would have ever thought that?
Before we move on from sort of the Davidson stuff, how lightly were you recruited? Because there's all these different stories about who did offer you, who didn't offer you. Virginia Tech offering you a walk-on spot where your dad played. Like, was Davidson the option? Was that the only option, or were there other like bigger schools?
On my list, it was Davidson, Winthrop, and Virginia Commonwealth. So Jeff Capel was at VCU at the time. Greg Marshall was at Winthrop, and that was the list. It was during my senior year too. So we're like we're in the middle of preseason. Like I think I gave a verbal commitment to Davidson probably the 1st of December. So it was pretty late in the process. But it's crazy to think Davidson was always at the top of the list just because I knew Coach McKillop. they were graduating 7 seniors, my senior year of high school. So I knew the way that he pitched, like you got to earn it, but you have an opportunity to play right away. And that kind of excited me just about getting my feet wet early and not have to play behind anybody, no matter what level it was. And, just the fit of the, his style of play and all that. But God has a funny sense of humor. Like, that was my list. And as soon as I declared to Davidson, after that season, Greg Marshall went to Wichita State and Jeff Cable went to Oklahoma. So they both left, not because of I didn't come, but that was just, like, I would have signed up to 2 schools that both coaches would have left. So it's kind of just the timing and kind of the fortune of that I had a coach that was going to bring the best out of me. I had a program that was technically a mid-major, but had not really had much success on the tournament, stage. So I kind of could develop under the radar and just go through the ups and downs of becoming a college basketball player and building my confidence.
So you were mentioning this earlier, but your thought process between sophomore year and junior year about going to the draft or not, why did you decide to come back after, at that point, the whole world sort of knew who you were and what you could do?
Part of it is just such a natural process to, like, the journey of, freshman year, you're just getting your feet wet, you're playing well. I was trying to chase KD in the freshman scoring title and all that. He beat me. Then he declares for the draft. I come back, we have that tournament run, and that's really all you're focused on. Like, I'm not thinking about the NBA. It's just, how can we, take that next step as a team? Then right after the tournament, I spent the next 2 months kind of gathering some information and really thinking about, like, is this something that is the right time for me? Is my game, my, physical stature ready to make that jump into the league? And what I kind of came to was, for me to be successful on the NBA level, and give myself the best chance, was to come back and play more point guard role. Cause like I said, I had Jason Richards, who's the main ball handler, and I was just coming off screen shooting. I played a little bit of, like, backup point when he went to the bench, but I needed a whole season to kind of rep that, or get some reps as a point guard, a playmaker, but still keep my, my scoring thread up. And that's all that next year was, knowing I was going to get attention from all type of crazy defenses and all that. That one coach run a triangle and 2 just on me for,
I watched games that year. I'd be like, man, what is this guy doing in college right now? Like, this is not. I actually, my thought that whole year, because I probably watched 5 or 6 of your regular season games.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't know that this is preparing him for the NBA.
I was there just coming down, run a play.
There's no triangle.
Get off. It's, getting the ball back, just shooting. But it was more so just, being having the ball in my hands to balance playmaking and scoring. We didn't even make the tournament my junior year. We lost to St. Mary's in the NIT, which is also kind of ironic because that's in Walnut or Moraga, California, which is 20 minutes from Oracle Arena. So my last game was literally in my new home and had no idea. So it was dope.
As always, thank you for listening to the show. Please subscribe on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, Wondery, wherever you listen to your podcast. We appreciate you guys.